In this video, I want to give you the best cash flow management system to use if you're a brand new real estate agent, or maybe you've been in the business for a while and you're always feeling like you're broke. Hey guys, if you haven't met me yet, my name is Emmanuel. I am the kind of founder and chief talking head guy around here over at Square One Group, but really our mission is to help you identify your expertise and then help you scale your real estate business using systems. We really make these videos just to give you a leg up to hopefully bring in some new business. So if and when you do decide to scale, hey, maybe you keep us in mind, we'd love to work with you. That said, today I want to jam on with you about money, specifically a money framework that you can implement immediately so that you're always going to be profitable inside of your real estate business and never, or maybe stop, feeling like you're bringing in money, but it's like gone almost instantly. Now, this cash flow system I'm referring to, it's called Profit First. It's by Mike Michalowicz, but I really wanted to break down how it works for you, or will work for you if you are in the real estate industry. But first, let me explain to you a quick story that a buddy of mine, Josh Willard, shared with me, because it's gonna add context into really how this cash flow system works. Now, really depending on how old you are, your parents or your grandparents really didn't have this fancy internet thing or online banking to help manage their money. Instead, what they used in terms of money management, it's either jars or envelopes. I hope this sounds kind of familiar and maybe you've seen them use this before. You see, back in the day, let's say like our grandpa would go out and work and would come home with a cash check. Then grandma would take that money and then put it into different envelopes. You know, one envelope would be for rent, another would maybe be for utilities, and maybe, for example, another one would be for food or groceries for the week. Now, let's say for any given week, grandma typically allocates about $100 of the budget toward the food for the family to eat for the week. Now, grandma would go out and then buy the groceries for the week, and then the entire family would, have plenty to eat. But let's say, for example, one week grandpa got sick and he was only able to maybe work 3 days out of the week instead of the 5. Now, grandpa would bring home cash and grandma would divide it up, but this week, since he was sick, grandma was only able to allocate $70 to the food grocery budget instead of $100. Well, you see, the family still had to eat, so grandma went to the store and she found a way to make this work. She found a way to feed the entire family for the week. But the key here is that maybe instead of having chicken and steak, every night for dinner, this week when, times were a little tough, maybe it was just like spam and beans. Now, I bring this story up because essentially, fast forward to right now, to where we are today, present day. The advent of online banking has completely broken the way that we look and manage money. And really what grandma was doing, or maybe your parents were doing back in the day, this is an idea or a concept called budgeting. And the reality is, since money has become so easily accessible in our online banking accounts, many of the times we don't actually truly know how much money we have in our accounts, and then we just end up overspending or wasting more money than we actually take in. And the results of this makes us feel like as we close deals, we're always finding ourselves either short on cash or broke or having to max out credit cards. It's all the stuff that we really don't like feeling, very high anxiety producing, and in any case, like something that we don't want to be doing for way too long. And anecdotally, for me, for example, one of the worst feelings in the world is when I brought home like my first 6-figure year, and then at the end of the year when I had to do my accounting, I had $0 in my bank account. And I was like, where the heck did all my money go? Then I was introduced to a cash flow system. It completely changed the game for me, and I'm hopeful that it will change the game for you as well. It's called Profit First. It's by this great author. His name is Mike Michalowicz. He has a book out there. By the way, if you got some downtime, highly recommend that you go out and read it. But the premise behind Profit First is pretty simple. We want to take out profit from our businesses before we pay for expenses, which is the complete opposite if you're familiar with any typical accounting system, which is, income minus expenses equals profit. But the big thing I really have to emphasize, and I want you to take away here, is that this is not an accounting system. What I am referring to is a cash flow system. Huge difference. And here's how it works. Let me hop into the iPad real quick and show you. Okay, so what you're going to need to understand about Profit First is that you're going to actually need to be opening up 5 accounts. 3 of them are checking accounts and 2 of them are savings. And I'm going to break down each account with you now on my screen. So the first account that we're going to want to set up is going to be a checking account. And we're going to call this the income account. So the idea behind the income account, pretty simple. Whatever cash you bring in is going to be funneled into this account. And then twice a month, maybe on the 5th and the 25th, you're going to withdraw out the income from this account, and then you're going to disperse it into the 4 remaining accounts. The next account that I want to tell you about is really the first one, which is a savings account. And this account is what we're actually going to call your profit account. And in this profit account, you're essentially going to allocate, really just at the beginning, and this number is going to fluctuate, but we're going to allocate about 1% of our income into here. And this account is really what we're going to be using for our bonuses, or maybe hitting milestones, or maybe paying off debt. Now, the second account is also going to be a savings account. And this account we're actually going to use to allocate money toward that scary thing that we all hate at the end of the year, taxes. And in terms of allocation amount, we're going to range about 14%. Now, really depending on where you are in the country, it might actually be higher, it might actually be lower, but roughly I would highly recommend starting off at about 14%. And this account here is strictly dedicated to Uncle Sam. You take out money, or you allocate money into this account, and the money that's taken out is immediately going to be paid for your taxes, so that you don't need to worry about it when April 14th comes around. By the way, pro tip on this one, these two accounts that I'm referring to here, these two savings accounts, highly recommend that you put them in a completely different bank from what you're using regularly. And it's simply because it's out of sight, it's out of mind, and you won't be tempted to actually reach into these banks to try to pull money out when you know that you should be saving it. Now, this third account, it's a checking account. And this account is reserved for the most important employee in your company, which is you. So we're going to call this owner's pay. And this is essentially where you allocate the amount that you're going to be paying yourself as your salary. Now, realistically, you recommend about 35% for this one. And you kind of just use this money to live off of. This is going to handle your rent or your mortgage and your food and your entertainment and all that fun stuff. Now, the last account is, of course, another checking account. And this one is used for your operating expenses. And in terms of allocation, we're going to allocate about roughly 50% of the total budget. Now, this is really where all of the expenses of your business are going to be housed. When it comes to spending money on maybe lead gen activities, or your marketing or sales activities, or client gifts, whatever it is, it's going to be coming out of this account here. But the idea and premise behind this is pretty simple. We're going to go back to how grandma used to budget for, expenses, to make sure that we were always living within our means and never overextending or over leveraging our account. And at the end of the day, if we can't afford a thing, like for example, a really cool CRM tool, or maybe some cool, consulting or coaching service, then we need to get resourceful and figure out how to do the thing ourselves. So just like grandma found a way to budget to feed the family for the entire week when she was short on budget, you now have to become more resourceful to figure out how you can operate your business within the amount of money that you've allocated toward it. Highly recommend you implement this yourself, and you'll find that you will start living a lot more within your means and be way more profitable. Anyway, jam on a lot more about this stuff inside our free Facebook group. Leave in the description below. And if you enjoyed this video, check out this one here. Bye now.